So I had a call last week with a former colleague of mine who contacted me because she is taking her solopreneur business to a new direction, a new level. She wants to expand it, and she was on a call with me to ask me if I had any tips about how to build this business, like things like insurance and website and who to partner with and who to hire for a sales team. And as she was describing where she was on her journey, I could really see myself many years ago putting sorry, let's see if I have this right. Putting the cart or the carriage before the horse. There we go. Putting the carriage before the horse. In French, we say la charrue avant les bœufs. And so I was really witnessing a pattern that I've seen so many times, which I was the victim of, a long time ago. I learned the hard way again, which consists of starting with things that are important for a business, but investing too much in the infrastructures to run the business before you have traction, before you have, in other words, the proof that somebody has money and sees the value to buy your product or service with that money. That is a dangerous pattern because when you move forward without enough proof, you're going to spend resources, time, hope, you're going to put emotional labor into something that we have very few evidence that it's going to work, right? Now, that being said, should you just focus on making, on generating traction just alone? Probably not. It's a balance. But my recommendation to her was to really, really slow down and almost stop on things like, building the infrastructure, building the operations until she has proof that somebody is going to buy her services, almost like a signed contract or a promise or serious evidence that people are not only interested and see the value, but also have the budget and the money to pay for that service. In her case, it's a service, but maybe for you, it's a product. The principle is easy. Traction comes first. The engine of the business comes first. The rest, can be added, finding insurance, finding a good website provider, or finding people to deliver on your promise. Maybe, although that's sometimes a little more tricky, but all of that kind of flows naturally. And in fact, the metaphor that just came to my mind now is just like we built cars, or we used to build cars in the old days. We would start with the standard basic element of the car, which is the chassis, the frame, and an engine, axle, and something to propel the wheels. And then on top of that, we add a body and all the nice features and bells and whistles. So you want to start with traction. You want to start with traction because that is the essence, that's the DNA of a business. What is a business? I think this quote is from Warren Buffett, someone famous, look it up. I should have done the research before, but the quote is easy. The purpose of a business is to create a customer, right? So you do not have a business until you create a customer. Now, a lot of people think that because they have a website, they have an idea, they have all the capabilities to build it, and maybe it's a building, maybe it's machines and all that they feel like they have a business. In fact, that is a big lure, that is a big trap, because what if you spend all of that energy, time, money, investments, and it doesn't even work? Now, you may find investors, typically they're going to be angel investors, venture capitalists that are willing and ready to take on the risk to help you, give you the money and the resources to see if there is a market, right? And that's because they're equipped to do that. typically in professional services, it's very hard to find this kind of investors unless usually you have some serious background or you have something really tangible like intellectual property or a piece of software, something that will act as a piece of collateral to mitigate that risk. But in case you don't have that, and say, all of your business is based on selling your time and material, selling your ideas, your energy. Maybe you have a little bit of IP, like here we have at MetaHelm. We have a methodology called strategic narrative. You have to work with what you have already to go test the market and see if there is even proof that your service or product has some potential to work. So my recommendation to my colleague was to pause on a lot of development on other things and focus on one simple activity. And that simple activity is probably the cheapest, most efficient thing you can do at de-risking your business. And that activity is called market discovery conversations. Simply, what is a market discovery conversation? It is an ongoing dialogue that you have with your potential market to understand what the market wants versus what you think the market needs, which is really where, that nuance here can play tricks with you. It's all about what the market wants and is ready to buy, what problem they have, what it's about finding commitment and proof of that commitment that people are willing to buy something that you may be able to provide next. But those market discovery conversations only work if you are willing to forget about your idea and really simply focus on what people want, where they are in their journey, in their life. And next, after that, in another moment, then after that, try to see if you have a solution for them. Most of the time, we do the opposite. Why is that? Because we are creative, because we've been there before, because we make shortcuts in the understanding of our market, because we believe that we understand where our clients are better than them. And that is a big mistake. That is a big trap. I told you that I learned that lesson the hard way many years ago. So let me share the story with you now. So many years ago, I used to run a consulting and training firm, back in Europe, and we put all that energy into creating a team and trainings and a lot of marketing material, including a website and collateral, all of that stuff, even offices, right? We were paying rent without even knowing if we had a solid enough market. We just had a few clients paying little money, and we felt that was confident enough, and it wasn't. And I'm thinking, specifically about a particular offering that really was a disaster and that cost us a lot of money, also a lot of discouragement, a lot of tension in the team. That was the lesson, that I learned the hard way. That's it. So if you want to make yourself a favor, if you are in that phase, or if you're thinking, or if you know somebody who's in that phase, try to really focus on the proof that there is a market for it. Try to sell what people want, not necessarily what you think the market needs. You will give that later, and once you've tapped into people's wants and their budget, and they're willing to commit to you helping them, you can still deliver what they actually need. That's actually great, and because then they're willing to understand what they really need. But first, start with what the market wants. Don't be lured by all the advice, which consists of saying, hey, or you should invest in this and that marketing, and start hiring salespeople. It's too soon, and sometimes you'll push back maybe with yourself, because it's kind of a disappointing idea to kind of slow down and and it's also, it takes courage to also to go really to these conversations where they are on Zoom in person, or you have that conversation via email or survey. There's lots of mechanisms to do that, but it's kind of disappointing also sometimes to hear the truth about the fact that despite everybody else told you your business idea is a great idea, but in reality there will be no buyer for it, right? So be careful with the lies, the well-intentioned lies, to launch something that in appearance sounds like a great idea because your friend, your friend, your mom, your uncle, your colleagues, all of your advocates and supporters told you, yeah, that's great. I'd love to. This would be awesome. I think this has a lot of legs. Yeah, it has a lot of potential. So be careful with and all of these are well-intentioned, right? But they're all lies. They are not the truth. They are not the direct source of information to get you to a solid decision on whether you should move forward with your ideas. So that's it. That's my that's my call to action for the day. I will just, I typically, someone told me, yeah, you should rant a little more. So I'm just going to add this, to this video is, I just want to express that I see so much potential wasted and lost because we try to skip that phase. We try to cut corners and we really don't spend enough time really trying to honestly and authentically understand what our market is ready to do or what the market really wants. So I hope this is helpful. As always, I welcome your comments and questions. If you love the reframe on this one, if you love the energy, and if you'd like to know more about this approach, just let me know. Just drop a comment wherever this video is posted. Thank you so much.